If not for God, that morning would have ended in one obituary. It all started when Mirabelle, a 23-year-old village girl with big eyes and even bigger dreams, almost fell into the village well while rushing to fetch water. People screamed, goats scattered, and her bucket went flying like it was auditioning for a Nollywood action film. As she held the shaky rope and pulled herself back up, she burst into laughter, small, embarrassed, confused laughter. "See my life?" she muttered. "Is this how I will die? Inside well? God forbid, my enemies must wait. I've not even blown yet." Everyone laughed, but deep down they all knew the truth. Poverty had been wrestling her family since before she was born. Mirabelle was the only child of Mama Rose and Papa Felix, two kind, humble farmers whose bank account balanced between prayers and hope. From babyhood, she was their miracle, their future, their everything. But as her mother always said, God will not come down to pay school fees and a human being go do am. Life didn't help matters. When Mirabelle was 16, her school principal developed a spiritual gift called "Go home until you bring your fees." Like clockwork, she was always chased from class. Her mates stayed inside solving maths. She stayed under the mango tree solving her destiny. Sometimes she whispered, "God, Abig, if you're selecting people for blessings, just carry me along. Oh, no, leave me with these village people." Mama Rose always found her, sat beside her and rubbed her back gently. "My Pekin, cry no day solve anything. Even if I have to sell this wrapper on my body, you must finish school. Nobody will mock my child." Those words planted courage inside her like yam seed. But poverty? Poverty didn't care about motivational speeches. Poverty was stubborn. It held their family like glue. By 20, Mirabelle watched her parents slowly turning old before their time, farming under hot sun, struggling to breathe through hardships. One evening, she returned from the farm and saw them sitting silently by their kerosene lamp. No talking, no jokes, just tiredness standing between them like a third person. That was the night she made a dangerous decision. She whispered to herself, "I can't continue watching these two suffer because of me. Let me go and face the city. If Lagos likes, let it swallow me. I will still rise." Her hands shook as she packed her tiny Ghana must-go bag. 3 dresses, 1 torn slipper, 1 small Bible, and liver. Plenty liver. Tears rolled, but she cleaned them sharply before anyone caught her. She met her parents in their small mud house. "Daddy, I want to go to the city. I don't know anybody there, but God will send me a helper. I want to work. I want to change our story." Papa Felix stared at her like someone watching a trailer he wasn't ready for. His voice cracked. "My daughter, Lagos is not your mate. That city can collect your destiny if you're not careful, but if this is truly your path, God go guide you." Mama Rose held her so tight that Mirabelle felt her heartbeat. "Go, my child. Go and fight for your future. But don't forget home. Don't forget the values we taught you. Treat people the way you want God to treat you." Mirabelle nodded into her shoulder. "I promise, Mama." The next morning, she stood by the dusty village road. Her parents waved like people sending their child to war. She forced a smile, even though her chest tightened like someone used rope to tie it. That was the day Mirabelle left her village, stepping into uncertainty with nothing but courage, sense, and stubborn hope. Far away in the rich and chaotic city of Lagos lived a young billionaire named Adrian King. If you opened a magazine and saw a handsome man standing beside luxury cars, just assume it was him. Estates, skyscrapers, private jets, security that carried walkie-talkies like chewing gum. The man had everything. Well, everything except peace of mind. Every night he sat alone in his gold-decorated mansion with lights so bright it looked like heaven's waiting room. Yet he felt empty. "So this is life," he sighed. "Money is following me like Bluetooth, but true love is running from me like I owe it money." Women flocked around him like mosquitoes around light, but their love was artificial. "They want the key to my mansion, not the key to my heart," he always said. Adrian became rich at 17, built his empire from scratch, fought competitors, outworked everyone. By 30, he was a walking inspiration with no one to inspire his soul. Still, he believed, one day I will find the woman who sees me, not the money. Even if it takes years, I will wait. He had no idea that destiny was already standing by the roadside, holding a small bag and praying for a helper. Not in a fancy club, not in a rich party, but somewhere simple, very simple. Back to Mirabel. When the bus dropped her in Lagis, her legs almost gave way. Horns everywhere, people shouting, hawkers dragging her bag, cakey men screaming, Mike too! Mike too! As if they were arguing with their ancestors. She clutched her small bag to her chest. Father Lord, she whispered, if this is how Lagos looks, I surrender. But please, let somebody help me before Lagos swallows me alive. She wiped her face quickly, pulled her small bag closer, and stepped into the loud Lagos street, a street where everybody walked with speed like they were being chased by destiny. Her stomach growled. It growled again and again. If hunger had a voice that morning, it would have been shouting Mirabel's name like an angry landlord. Enna! She hissed playfully at herself. Continue shouting. Maybe somebody will cook you jollof by miracle. After walking a few meters from the bus park, the sweet smell of hot stew slapped her nostrils. She turned and saw it, a small roadside wooden shop with smoke rising like incense from heaven. An elderly woman sat there, fanning the fire and stirring rice that looked like salvation. Mirabel approached respectfully. Good afternoon, Mama. I want buy small food, I beg. The woman, Mama Becky, looked up and smiled warmly. My daughter, you are welcome. Sit down, let me serve you. Mirabel collected the plate with joy and sat. First spoon, heaven. Second spoon, peace. Third spoon, she didn't reach it, because before her mouth could open, customers suddenly appeared like they were summoned by a spiritual bell. Men, women, mechanics, Okada riders, everybody wanted food at once. Mama Becky ran up and down like a one-woman army. Her hands were shaking. One pot almost fell. Customers started complaining. Auntie, my rice, nah! Mama, give me mineral, nah, beg! Mirabel looked from her food to the crowd. She hissed softly. Lie, I can't just sit down like Queen of England while this mama suffers. She dropped her spoon and marched behind the table, without permission, without fear, without shame. Uncle, take your plate. Don't shout. Nobody is dragging food with you, she said, handing out rice. Auntie, your water. Oya shift small, let breeze enter. She washed plates, served stew, arranged chairs, wiped tables, cleaned spoons, like she had been working there for 10 years. People stared. One man whispered, Mama Becky, where you see this your daughter way day work like say salary don't enter. Another woman added, this kind girl no day Lagos again. God bless her. Mama Becky just stood still, mouth open, watching this young stranger practically save her business. Finally, when the crowd reduced, Mirabel returned to her seat and continued eating her cold rice like it was fresh. She didn't complain. She didn't act like a heroine. She just smiled quietly. Mama Becky walked to her, touched her shoulder with shaking hands and whispered, My daughter, God sent you to me today. Who are you? Mirabel looked up shyly. I'm just someone that hates seeing people struggle. I couldn't sit down and do nothing, Mama. When she finished eating, she brought out her purse, her emergency savings, 500 folded carefully like a national treasure. Mama, please take. The woman pushed her hand away firmly. No, you think I will collect money from someone who just saved me? Tufiakwa! Keep your money, my daughter. Mirabel blinked, shocked. Why, Mama? Because good people are rare like gold inside dustbin. Today you helped me without asking for anything. I cannot forget it. She looked at Mirabel again, this time more seriously. My daughter, where do you live? Do you stay around? Mirabel's voice dropped. No, Mama, I just arrived Lagos this morning. And so who did you come to meet? Nobody, Ma. Mama Becky held her chest dramatically. Ah! Lagos? Alone, this Lagos that can swallow person and still be eating chin-chin on top their destiny? She sighed deeply and touched Mirabel's hand. My child, from today, you are not alone. Stay with me. Work with me. I will pay you every month. You will eat. You will sleep peacefully. You will be safe. Mirabel froze. It was as if heaven paused too. Ma, you mean it? Yes. Mama Becky smiled. Someone like you? I cannot let you suffer outside. Mirabel dropped her bag and jumped into her arms. Mama, God bless you. You don't know what you have done for me. That evening, they went to Mama Becky's small house behind the shop. The roof wasn't perfect, the walls were old, but the place was peaceful like home. Mirabel slept on a small bed, tears rolling quietly. But this time they were tears of relief. God bless you, Mama, she whispered before sleep carried her away. The next morning, Mirabel stood outside, inhaling Lagos breeze like fresh air even though it smelled like fuel and fried akara. She dialed Papa Felix. Daddy, I arrived well. I'm fine. Her father's tired voice suddenly became lively. "My daughter, God bless you. Your mother is here, shouting hallelujah." She laughed softly. "I love you both." As she ended the call, a black SUV glided to a stop in front of the shop. Not parked, glided. The type of car you only see in music videos or when rich politicians pretend to be humble. Mirabelle adjusted her scarf. The door opened, and out stepped Adrian King. Tall, calm, clean. A man whose perfume alone could pay someone's school fees. He was followed by two workers carrying files like they were carrying treasure. Adrian adjusted his wristwatch and looked toward the shop. His eyes landed on Mirabelle, and he stopped walking. Completely. It was as if someone pressed pause on his life. Her gentle face, her peaceful eyes, her neat, simple look. Something about her felt different. Mirabelle noticed him staring and quickly greeted, "Good morning, sir." Her voice snapped him back like electricity. Good morning," he replied quietly. "What's your name?" His voice dropped lower, softer. "I'm Mirabelle. Sir." She pointed inside. "Mama is not here yet, but I can serve you." Adrian repeated her name under his breath. "Mirabelle, that's a beautiful name." She blushed slightly. "Thank you, sir. What would you like to eat?" He smiled gently, even though he wasn't planning to smile that morning. "I need 6 plates of jollof and chicken." Mirabelle moved quickly, serving with the same careful hands Mama Becky adored. His workers collected the food, but Adrian didn't move. He kept watching her like he was trying to understand something. When she returned his change, their fingers brushed lightly. His chest tightened. "Thank you, Mirabelle," he said softly. She nodded. "You're welcome, sir." He walked back to his SUV as if walking on clouds. Inside the car, he leaned back silently. "Who is this girl?" he whispered. "Why does she feel different?" His workers didn't hear him, but his heart did, and it wasn't planning to forget her anytime soon. A few minutes after the morning rush, just when she finished arranging the last plate she served earlier, she saw Mama Becky approaching from the road with her usual slow but alive swagger. Mirabelle ran to her like a child seeing her parent after school. "Mama! Mama!" she said excitedly. "One big man came with one black SUV like spaceship earlier. He bought 6 plates and left without collecting his change. I kept the money safe." Mama Becky stopped mid-walk. "An SUV?" She widened her eyes. "As in real SUV or those ones mechanics borrow to impress people?" "Mama, this one was not borrowed." Even the engine sound was proud. Mama Becky burst into laughter. "You try, my daughter, you try well. Honest girl, no day plenty again. God bless you." Mirabelle bowed her head shyly. "I want people to trust us, Mama. Even when you're not around, I want your customers to feel like they are family." "Or," Mama Becky said, touching her chest dramatically. See my daughter talking like manager of life. God bless you." That evening, while Mirabelle and Mama Becky were counting plates at the shop, Adrian King was in his mansion, sitting on his king-size bed with the type of quiet that made expensive homes feel lonely. He lay back, staring at the ceiling like the answer to his confusion was written somewhere between the ceiling fan and the chandelier. "Why is my mind still on that girl?" he muttered. He wasn't even used to thinking about people this much, but Mirabelle's voice, her calm smile, the way she served him like she had no idea she was beautiful, his heart refused to rest. "She's simple, gentle, different," he whispered, touching his chest as if trying to regulate the nonsense happening inside. What exactly is this feeling? He finally slept, if we can call it sleep, because Mirabelle's face followed him into his dreams like she paid rent in his mind. Next morning, 6 a.m. His phone rang. "Mr. Adrian, the land meeting is fixed for 8 a.m. sharp." Adrian rubbed his eyes. "I'll be there." 30 minutes later, he was dressed in a fine suit that probably cost someone's yearly rent. He hopped into his SUV and drove off. But even inside that expensive car, his mind wandered back to the food shop girl who smiled with humility. 1 month later, Mirabelle was now a Lagos landlady of respect in Mama Becky's shop. If destiny had a timetable, Mirabelle's own was definitely running Lagos style. Fast, loud and unpredictable. People didn't just come for food. They came for Mirabelle's jokes, her kindness, and her ability to call customers my brother, even if they were old enough to be her grandfather. "Mirabelle, your stew sweet today, oh," one of the regulars said. She smiled. "Thank you, sir. Please donate to my future billionaire account by patronizing my mum all the time." Laughter filled the shop every day. But that afternoon, everything changed. Mama Becky walked in slowly, breathing like she had carried the whole of Lagos traffic on her head. Mirabel rushed to her. "Mama, what happened? You look worried." Mama Becky sat down, held her chest, and sighed. "My daughter, they have given me notice," she whispered. "The land has been sold." Mirabel froze, her hand dropped. "Mama, who bought it?" "Some rich man from Lagos," Mama Becky said with a tired voice. "They said I must leave by the end of the month." Mirabel knelt beside her. "Oh, Mama, please don't cry," she said, though her own tears were already threatening strike action. "We will survive. God is still on the throne." But her heart was breaking quietly. And then engines roared outside. 2 black SUVs and a bigger Jeep stopped in front of the shop. Mirabel peeked outside and whispered, "Mama, that's the same SUV that came the day you weren't around." Mama Becky forced a small smile. "Maybe they came to buy food again." They thought wrong. 3 men stepped down, and one of them was Adrian King. Mirabel's heart attempted backflip. He walked toward the shop with his business partner and the landowner. "That's the place," the landowner said loudly, pointing to Mama Becky's shop. "The land starts here. I already told the woman to pack out." Adrian froze. He saw Mirabel, then Mama Becky, then the shop he had unknowingly bought. "You mean this is the land?" he asked. "Yes, sir," the landowner smiled proudly. Adrian took a deep breath and inspected the place. After walking around, he nodded. "It's good land. Fine," the landowner grinned. "So we proceed with—" Adrian raised a hand. "Hold on." He turned to Mama Becky, slow, gentle, respectful. "Mama," he said calmly, "do not rush to pack your things. Take your time. Find another location. When you see a place you like, call me." He pulled out a business card and placed it in her trembling hands. "I will pay the rent." Mama Becky's mouth dropped as her eyes filled with tears. "God bless you, my son. God bless you." Adrian nodded respectfully and turned to leave. But before entering his SUV, he looked at Mirabel, one look that carried 20 emotions. Then he drove off. Mirabel stood like a statue. "Mama?" she whispered. "Why does this man care?" That night, Adrian sat alone in his office, pretending to work, but mostly thinking nonsense about Mirabel. "If I buy that land, where will they go?" he murmured. "I can't throw them out. Not her, not the woman." His voice softened. "Mirabel, why do you trouble my heart like this?" He took a slow sip of wine. "Tomorrow after work, I'll visit them. Whatever this feeling is, I'm not running away." That same night, back at the shop, Mirabel and Mama Becky sat silently, letting the evening breeze settle their minds. "Mama," she said softly, "did he really say he would pay for our new shop?" Mama Becky nodded. "That young man is different. Truly." Mirabel sighed gently. "Yes, Mama, and he talks to people with respect. I think he's an engineer." Mama Becky laughed. "I don't know what he is, but he is a good man. God bless him." Mirabel smiled, small, soft, hopeful, and just then a customer walked into the shop. She stood up quickly. "Good evening, sir. What will you eat?" Even her pain obeyed duty. Meanwhile, that same night, after a long day of shouting at contractors who behaved like they were allergic to instructions, Adrian King finally dragged himself home. The moment he parked his sleek black SUV, his phone started vibrating. He checked the screen. His mother. Immediately, he straightened his voice and answered, "Good evening, Mom." Her tone was gentle but firm, the kind of voice Nigerian mothers use when trouble is loading. "My son, please come home. I need to see you immediately." Ah, when an African mother says please with no explanation. "My brother, just start going." Adrian turned the car around like a man whose destiny was being monitored from the village and sped off. 30 minutes later, he rolled into his parents' mansion in Ikoyi. The massive gates swung open like they were saluting him. His mother, Mrs. King, stood upstairs on the balcony, hands clasped like a queen awaiting her heir. "My son, welcome," she said as he stepped inside. Adrian hugged her, greeted his father respectfully, and sat at the dining table where a well-arranged plate of grilled fish and jollof rice was waiting. The housemaid placed chilled juice beside him like she was presenting an award. His mother watched him eat with suspicious interest. Finally, he looked up. "Mom, you told me to come urgently. What happened?" She placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "My son, there is no problem. I only have a question. A small question." She paused dramatically. "Where is your wife?" Adrian nearly choked on the rice. My what?" "My dear, your wife, the one you will marry, the one I will carry her children. We have waited. You are dragging feet. Why?" He He sighed deeply, dropped his spoon, and replied calmly, "Mom, the kind of woman I want is rare. Most women who come close to me only want my money. Not me." His mother's eyes softened. "Adrian, marriage is important. We are only concerned." "I know, Mom, and I promise, soon, when the right woman shows up, you will be the first to know." His mother smiled like someone who had just been promised grandchildren. "Good, your father and I will support everything." After eating, Adrian hugged her goodbye and left. He drove out of the compound with only one name dancing in his mind: Mirabelle. The following morning, Adrian sat at his dining table, staring at a cup of juice he wasn't drinking. His mother's words replayed in his mind. "It might be time," he muttered. He leaned back, rubbing his forehead. "But I won't marry because of pressure. A good woman is built with patience." He paused, then whispered almost shyly, "Maybe it's time to let Mirabelle know how I feel. You see this life? Love can make a billionaire start talking to himself." He stood up, grabbed his suit jacket, and marched out like a man going to claim his destiny. As Adrian drove toward his site in Yaba, he slowed down when he reached Mama Becky's food shop. He rolled down his tinted window and called out, "Good morning, Ma. Please, I need food for my workers. I can't wait, but you can send someone to deliver it." Mama Becky, wiping stew from her hands, hurried forward. "Ah, sir! Yes, yes! Give me the address!" Adrian scribbled the address boldly on a sheet of paper and handed it to her. "Let it come fast," he said politely. Before she could even thank him properly, he had driven off to the site. Mama Becky stared at the address like it was a secret treasure map. She folded it and tucked it inside her blouse like important documents. At that moment, Mirabelle was still at home, sweeping the compound and humming one village gospel song. She didn't know Destiny had already booked an appointment for her. When she was done with all the chores Mama Becky assigned that morning, she cleaned up, grabbed her small handbag, and headed to the shop, unaware that the turning point of her life was waiting for her at a construction site. Meanwhile, at the site, Adrian was showing his engineers how to do simple tasks they should have known since 1999. As he walked around giving orders, his wallet slipped from his pocket unnoticed. Inside, his ID card, ATM cards, and enough cash to make a broke man speak in tongues. Hours later, Mirabelle reached the shop. Mama Becky rushed to her like someone who just saw a savior. "My daughter, thank God you are here. The man with the black SUV came again. He ordered food for his site workers. You will deliver it." Mirabelle blinked. "Me? Who else? You have leg, Abby." Mirabelle collected the wrapped food and the folded paper, nodded, and took the nearest bus to the site. As she stepped onto the site, dust flying everywhere, a shiny object caught her eye. She bent down and picked it. A wallet. She opened it slightly and froze. "This belongs to Mr. Adrian." She looked around. Men were shouting, carrying cement, climbing scaffolds. Nobody noticed. Her heart raced. She held the wallet tight like it was a bomb. Finally, she approached Adrian, who was barking orders at a confused engineer. "Sir," she said quietly but clearly, "please, I think this belongs to you." Adrian turned sharply, confused. Then he saw the wallet. He touched his pocket. Empty. A flash of shock crossed his face. He stepped closer. "You found this? Where?" "In the sand beside where you parked, sir. I saw your ID." For a moment, Adrian didn't speak. Even his workers paused, watching them like a scene from a Nollywood movie. He took the wallet slowly, his eyes locked on her face. Inside him, something shifted. Any other person would have pocketed this, he thought. But this girl, she returned it without blinking. His voice dropped to a warm, emotional tone. "Thank you, Mirabelle. You have shown me something rare. Integrity." Mirabelle smiled shyly. "You're welcome, sir, and here is the food you ordered." Adrian signaled a worker to collect the food, but his eyes never left Mirabelle, and Mirabelle felt it too. The air had changed. Destiny had just cleared its throat. Meanwhile, that same night, after a long day at the construction site, Adrian King drove into his mansion like a man whose brain was carrying generator load. The moment he parked, he didn't even remove his seatbelt. He just rested his head on the steering wheel and exhaled loudly. "Chai, this life," he muttered. "One girl I barely know is already touching my heart like remote control." He finally forced himself out of the car and entered the house. Everywhere was quiet, the kind of quiet that reminded him he was rich but very single. He dropped his keys on the glass table, sank into the sofa, picked up a glass of wine, and didn't even drink it. He just held it like decoration. His mind refused to leave Mirabelle, the girl that returned his wallet like it was pure water sachet, the same wallet that had enough cash inside to tempt even a pastor with hunger. He whispered to the empty living room, "Who is this girl, a beg? In this Lagos? In this economy?" She returned the whole thing? Complete? He shook his head, baffled. Meanwhile, at Mama Becky's food shop, Mirabelle walked in, still catching her breath from everything that happened. Mama Becky eyed her immediately. "My daughter? Where you disappear, go? Hope you didn't fall inside gutter." Mirabelle sighed, threw herself onto a plastic chair and wiped her face. "Mama Becky, you won't believe what happened." She told her everything, seeing a wallet on the ground at the big man's site, checking the ID card, returning it to the owner. "Mama, the wallet belongs to the man himself. When I left there, I went to the market as you instructed." By the time she finished, Mama Becky's brows had lifted so high they were about to touch her scarf. "Ehen? You saw that kind of money and your leg did not shake? You're stronger than me, oh Mirabelle. You have lion heart," Mirabelle chuckled. "My mother used to say, if the world is grabbing money from the ground, be the one person grabbing integrity." She paused, smiling sadly. Mama Rose wasn't perfect, but her morals were iron. Mama Becky nodded and patted her shoulder. "My daughter, your honesty will not kill you. No, it will feed you one day." Neither of them knew that one day was already warming up. Back at Adrian King's mansion. Adrian finally took a sip of the wine, dropped the glass, picked it again, dropped it again. The man was restless. His head was saying focus on work, but his heart was shouting, "That girl is your wife." Just then his phone rang. He grabbed it quickly. "Hello? Adrian speaking." His business partner, Mr. Desmond, cleared his throat. "Adrian, about that project we want to start on the roadside plot." Adrian stood up slowly. "Oh boy." "Talk. We need to start development by month end. You'll have to tell the woman running that food shed to move." Adrian winced. His heart clenched immediately. "That means Mama Becky and Mirabelle." "Yes," the partner said. "They have to go." The call ended, but Adrian remained frozen like someone who just saw NEPA bill. He murmured to himself, "How will I chase them away? Mirabelle, that woman, after what she did." He walked to the giant window overlooking Lagos nightlights. Cars glowed, skyscrapers sparkled, but instead of feeling powerful, he felt guilty. "I can't throw them into the streets," he whispered. "Not after her honesty." He placed his palm on the glass, breathing deeply. "If the world didn't give her a chance, I will." For the first time, the billionaire made a decision with his heart, not his bank account. And the decision was simple. He wasn't going to let Mirabelle suffer. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. The next morning, Mama Becky was arranging stew pots. Mirabelle was sweeping the front like she had been fighting dust since 1992. Then a black SUV rolled in and parked. Both women froze. When Adrian stepped out, Mama Becky whispered, "Ah, this fine boy again. God, let today be good news, oh." Mirabelle's hand paused mid-air. Her heart did one backflip and two cartwheels. Adrian greeted them warmly. "Good morning, Mama Becky." "Good morning, my son," she replied, smiling. "Good morning, sir," Mirabelle added shyly, looking anywhere but his eyes. Adrian cleared his throat. "I didn't come here for food today," he said. "I came to talk to both of you." Mama Becky tensed immediately, clutching her wrapper. "My son, is everything okay?" Adrian smiled gently. "Don't panic, Mama. You're safe?" He looked at them with sincerity. "You both know this land belongs to my company and soon work will begin here." Mama Becky's hands dropped. Her eyes widened. Mirabelle's heart sank. But Adrian lifted a hand. "No fear. I will never leave you stranded. I've arranged something for both of you." Their confusion deepened. "A furnished two-bedroom apartment inside my estate," he said softly. "You can move in today. You deserve comfort, not dust and rain." Silence. Pure shock. Then Mama Becky suddenly held her chest. "Jesus! Are you talking to us?" "This old woman and one village girl." "Yes, Mama." "You mean free house?" "Yes, Mama." "You mean 2 bedrooms, not 1? "Yes, Mama." "You mean inside estate? With gate?" Adrian laughed. "Yes, Mama." Mama Becky didn't know when she started crying. She dropped to her knees like land was calling her name. "My son, may God expand your life. You will marry well. Your children will not suffer. Your money will not finish. God bless you." Adrian quickly helped her up. "No kneeling, Mama. You deserve dignity." Mirabelle stood there speechless, tears burning her eyes. "Sir, we don't know how to thank you." Adrian's voice softened when he looked at her. "You don't have to thank me, Mirabelle. You earned it when you returned my wallet." Her heart thudded violently. This man was not just generous, he was dangerous to the heart. Evening came. Mirabelle and Mama Becky packed their nylon bags like people escaping from poverty's prison. A black car arrived to pick them. As they drove into the estate, Mirabelle pressed her face to the window like a child entering Wonderland. "This place looks like heaven with streetlights," she whispered. They reached a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment painted cream and gold. Adrian was already waiting outside, smiling. "Welcome home." Mama Becky nearly fainted. Inside the house. New mattress, soft sofa, shiny kitchen tiles, pots that looked like they had never met fire. Mama Becky burst into tears again. "God has remembered us. Adrian, my son, God will bless you till your cup overflows." Adrian gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Mama, rest. From today you will not struggle again." Mirabelle's overflowed. Not sadness, but relief. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. "This is more than kindness." Adrian looked at her, and his expression softened into something warm, something deep. "Mirabelle, you deserve a good life, and I intend to make sure you get one." Her heart skipped. Twice. That night. For the first time in years, Mirabelle slept in a house with a ceiling fan. She lay on her clean bed, staring at the white ceiling, her lips curved into a smile. "Adrian King, who exactly are you?" She didn't know if he was an answered prayer or the beginning of a miracle she never asked for. But one thing was sure, her life had just taken a turn she never expected, and this turn was leading straight into destiny. The next morning, small sunshine peeped through the curtain like it wanted to gossip about someone's future. Adrian King, fresh, calm, smelling like money and confidence, drove down to the new house where Mirabelle and Mama Grace now stayed. The moment he stepped out of his sleek SUV, Mama Grace and Mirabelle almost forgot they were sipping pap. "Good morning, Mama Grace," Adrian greeted with that rich people smile that looks imported. "Good morning, my son," she replied, smiling so wide her cheeks almost clapped. Mirabelle bowed slightly. "Good morning, sir," she said in that shy voice that always made Adrian's heart misbehave. "I hope you both slept well?" Adrian asked. "Yes, sir, we did. Thank you for everything," Mirabelle muttered. "God bless you, my son," Mama Grace added. Adrian smiled, adjusting his wristwatch like someone preparing for a proposal. "I came to invite you both to my house," he said. "I want us to eat breakfast together. My cook has already prepared something light." Something light. They didn't know something light in billionaire language means food that can feed a whole university hostel. They agreed, and soon Adrian drove them to his mansion. The gate alone looked like it had a salary. Inside, a maid welcomed them with bow and respect. They were led to a dining table long enough to host UN delegates. Fried plantain glowing like light, eggs, sausages, tea, yam, bread smelling like it came straight from heaven. They ate, they laughed, and Adrian kept stealing glances at Mirabelle. Finally, he dropped his spoon. "Mirabelle," he said softly. She looked up, startled. "Yes, sir?" Adrian inhaled like someone about to confess love on Africa Magic. "From the moment I met you, I knew there was something different about you. Your honesty, your humility, your kindness. They touched me." Mama Grace already started imagining Aso-Ebi colours. Adrian leaned forward. "I can't hide it anymore. Mirabelle, I want you to be my wife." Pause. Silence swallowed the room. Mirabelle froze. Her spoon trembled. "Me?" she whispered. "Yes, Mirabelle. I think about you all the time. You're the woman I've been praying for." Tears rose in Mirabelle's eyes. Mama Grace squeezed her hand. "My daughter Adrian is a good man." Mirabelle looked at him again. "Yes, I will marry you." Adrian lit up like Nipa brought light after 3 days. "Mirabelle," he whispered, overwhelmed. He held her hand. Mama Grace nearly shouted, "Hallelujah!" The next day, Adrian took them shopping. Not normal shopping, rich people shopping. Clothes, shoes, bags, perfumes, gowns that could confuse angels. Mama Grace got wrappers so fine they could start their own ministry. Back home, Mirabelle stared at everything like treasure. "How will I ever thank you?" she asked. "Just be yourself," Adrian said. Then, meeting the parents, they drove to Adrian's parents' mansion. Mrs. King rushed down like she had been fasting for this moment. "So, this is the woman who captured your heart," she said, smiling widely. Adrian held Mirabelle's hand proudly. "Yes, Mom, this is Mirabelle." His father nodded with approval. You chose well, my son." They talked, laughed, bonded like one big family. Later that night, Adrian held Mirabel's hand. "You see? They already love you. This is just the beginning." Mirabel's eyes filled with tears. "God has changed my story," she whispered. A week later, Mirabel, Adrian said gently, "now that you've met my parents, it's only right that I meet yours." Mirabel hesitated. "Adrian, my parents are not rich. Life has been hard on them." Adrian squeezed her hand. "I'm not marrying your background. I'm marrying you." They travelled to her village that weekend. SUV loaded with gifts like Christmas delivery. After hours of dusty roads, they arrived. Mama Rose and Papa Felix sat outside their small mud house, enjoying fresh breeze. When Adrian's SUV parked, Mama Rose jumped to her feet. "Mirabel!" she screamed, running to hug her daughter. "Mom, I missed you," Mirabel whispered. Papa Felix squinted his eyes like a village detective who had just spotted something suspicious. His gaze slowly shifted from Mirabel to the shiny SUV, to the man standing beside it, and finally to Mama Becky, who stood there smiling like somebody who had just won the Lagos Lotto. He cleared his throat. "Mirabel," he asked quietly, "my daughter, who exactly are these people? Because the way that man is dressed, he cannot be a farmer from this village, oh." Mirabel smiled. One of those smiles that tell you, "Daddy, calm down, today good news, go choke you." "Daddy, Mummy," she said softly, "this is Adrian King, the man I told you about, the man I want to marry." Mama Rose's eyebrows shot up like they wanted to jump off her face. This fine man," she muttered under her breath, staring at Adrian as if she was trying to confirm whether he was real or a hologram. Adrian stepped forward immediately, humble like a choir master meeting his in-laws for the first time. He bowed slightly. "Good evening, sir. Good evening, Ma. My name is Adrian King. I came with Mirabel because I want to officially meet the parents of the woman I love." The moment he said love, Mirabel nearly melted on the spot. Her mother gasped. "Ah! Jesus, take your glory! So love is still alive in this wicked world." Papa Felix stood frozen like somebody whose brain had refused to reboot. Mirabel turned to Mama Becky and held her hands with deep gratitude. "And this," she said proudly, "is Mama Becky. She is the owner of the food shop who took me in when Lagos tried to swallow me alive. She sheltered me, fed me, protected me. If not for her, I don't even know where my life would be today." Mama Rose rushed forward immediately and grabbed Mama Becky's hands passionately. "Ah, my sister, God bless you. God bless your children. Anybody that prays against you will be praying nonsense." Mama Becky laughed loudly. "Ah! My sister, no need for all this epistle. Your daughter is a good girl. She helped me more than I helped her. In fact, she was the one comforting me sometimes. That girl made my shop lively again." Mama Rose wiped her eyes dramatically. "See good people everywhere. And me, I was thinking Lagos is only full of wicked landlords and Nipa people." Meanwhile, Papa Felix finally found his voice. He walked slowly toward Adrian, studying him from head to toe like someone evaluating a goat before Christmas sacrifice. "My son," he said seriously, "who are you to my daughter?" There was silence. Even the breeze paused like it wanted to listen. Adrian stepped closer, voice calm yet firm. "Sir, I am the man who wants to stand beside Mirabel forever, the man who wants to protect her, honor her, and make her life so sweet that even her enemies will ask for directions to our joy." Mirabel felt her heart jump. Mama Rose covered her mouth with both hands. Mama Becky whispered, "Oh, see romance!" Papa Felix rubbed his chin slowly. "So you are the one Mirabel wants to marry?" "Yes, sir," Adrian replied confidently. Papa Felix gave a small dramatic nod. "Okay, but let me warn you now, if you ever make her cry, even by mistake, I will show you the meaning of village thunder. This my face may look gentle, but my spirit is not." Adrian laughed lightly and bowed again. "Sir, if Mirabel ever cries because of me, it will only be tears of joy." Mirabel blushed so hard she had to look at the ground. Mama Rose clapped her hands joyfully. This is the kind of in-law I prayed for, not those ones that come with excuses and bone face." Mama Becky added, "My brother, you have done well. This your confidence alone, 10-10. Even Papa Felix couldn't hide the tiny smile forming on his lips. He stepped back and stretched out his hand. "You are welcome, my son." Adrian shook his hand firmly, and just like that, the atmosphere shifted from tension to celebration. Adrian took one slow breath, wiped the tiny sweat on his forehead, because proposing marriage in front of a mud house with a goat staring at him was not how billionaires did their introduction. And then he cleared his throat dramatically. "Papa Felix, Mama Rose, I know this is not the official, according to tradition, elders must gather with cola nut kind of moment," he said, raising his hands like a pastor giving benediction. "But I promise to come back properly, with my parents, with elders, with full protocol. This is just chapter 1. Mama Rose chuckled, covering her mouth. Na so Oibo rich people they propose now? Outside, with dust touching your designer shoe?" Adrian smiled. "Mama, dust is nothing. Your daughter is the treasure." Papa Felix, who had been eyeing Adrian like, "Hope this one is not here to confuse my child," suddenly softened. His eyes moved to Mirabel, then back to Adrian. The man sighed deeply, the kind of sigh only a father who has suffered can sigh. He stepped forward, placed his rough, farm-hardened hands on Adrian's soft billionaire palms, and said quietly, "My son, if Mirabel truly has a place in your heart, then you have my blessing. May God guide both of you, and may you never make my daughter cry unless it's tears of joy." Mirabel's cheeks flushed pink instantly like somebody applied free blush. Mama Rose nodded dramatically. "Amen-o! Because if she cries tears of sorrow, I know road to Lagos, I will come and drag your ear myself." Everybody burst into laughter, Adrian included. That afternoon felt like one long, warm hug. No tension, no awkwardness. Just joy floating in the air like smoke from Mama Rose's firewood kitchen. They all sat under the mango tree where goats occasionally passed like spectators at a village festival. Adrian told them stories about Lagos, about his business, about how he first met Mirabel at Mama Becky's shop. Looking hungry, simply neat, and stubbornly honest. Mama Rose laughed so hard she nearly slapped her own thigh. The old woman, Mama Becky, was smiling too, the kind smile that came from pride. Mirabel, who used to hide her laughter like somebody hiding contraband, was now laughing openly, chest and teeth included. Soon Mama Rose brought food, hot pounded yam, steaming vegetable soup, and roasted chicken that probably didn't agree to die peacefully. Adrian took one bite, froze, then looked at the plate like he had found the missing half of his destiny. "Ah! Ah! Mama Rose, with all due respect, this food is sweeter than anything I've eaten in Lagos. Money cannot buy this taste." Papa Felix chuckled. "My son, it's from the heart. Village food no day lie." Even the goats bleated as if in agreement. The next morning, as they prepared to return to Lagos, Mama Becky hugged Mama Rose long and tight. "Thank you for giving the world a daughter like Mirabel," she said softly. Mama Rose wiped her eyes, "and thank you for taking care of her when she had nothing." Mirabel hugged her parents tight. Papa Felix patted her back gently like she was still his little girl of yesterday. Soon, the black SUV rolled away from the village, 3 people inside, one quiet breeze blowing outside, and Mirabel smiling to herself as she watched her old world shrink behind her. Who would have thought? From village dust to billionaire's future bride. Her chest felt like it held warm light. Once they reached Lagos, Adrian didn't waste time. He sent his parents, relatives, elders, full cultural package, to Mama Rose and Papa Felix's village for the traditional rites. There was dancing, there was cola nut, there was yum that looked like a newborn child, and plenty blessings. Weeks later, Lagos shut down because Mirabel and Adrian's wedding was not just a wedding, it was a festival with air conditioner. The hall glittered like a royal palace. Mirabel walked down the aisle, looking like God took an extra day to create her. Tears filled her eyes, not sadness, but the kind of joy that swells and spills. Adrian stood at the altar, smiling like someone who just won a lifetime award. When they said, "I do," the hall erupted. Even the chandelier shook small. 2 months after the wedding, Adrian meant every word he ever spoke. The first thing he did, he built Mama Rose and Papa Felix a beautiful, fully furnished 3-bedroom bungalow in their village. The kind of house that made villagers gasp and say, "Chineke, is this a hotel?" He put them on monthly allowance, hired people to farm for them, cleaned their compound, everything. He also bought a car for them and hired a driver for them as well. Their days of struggling ended. Prayers flowed from their lips to heaven every night, Adrian's name included. As for Mama Becky, with Adrian's help, they opened Mama Becky's eatery. Bright, modern, smelling like heaven's kitchen. Young workers everywhere, customers always full. Mama Becky? She just came to sit, gist and smile. Later, Adrian surprised her with a car and a driver. Mama, he said, you have served enough. Now it's your turn to enjoy. Mama Becky cried the kind of tears that washed the soul clean. Years later, their home was always full of laughter. Mirabelle became a mother of 3 beautiful children, tiny versions of her and Adrian. She was not just Adrian's wife, she was his peace, his partner, then his crown. One calm evening, they sat on their balcony, the sky melting into orange and gold. Mirabelle smiled softly. Adrian, do you remember the day we met at Mama Becky's shop? He laughed. Remember? That day changed my life. She hit him playfully. They laughed into the fading sunset. And in that moment it was clear, true love is not about riches. True love is choosing kindness, loyalty and honesty. True love lifts, heals and transforms. Mirabelle's life changed because she stayed true to who she was, even when life pushed her to the ground. And Adrian, the billionaire with wisdom but a soft heart, proved that love, when pure, is the greatest wealth of all. Hello viewers, thank you so much for watching this beautiful episode of Mirabelle and Adrian's love story filled with humour, hope and sweet Nigerian vibes. Moral lessons: kindness pays, sometimes immediately, sometimes later, but it never wastes. Love is not about money or background, it's about heart, character and sincerity. Help people when you can. Destiny is watching. Never look down on anyone. Your helper can appear in disguise. Besties, if you enjoyed this story, like this video, share it with your friends, drop a comment in your language, and don't forget to subscribe for more exciting stories. See you in the next episode.